Hello, welcome to Our Classroom is a Zoo Resources for Real STEM. We are coming to you from the Smithsonian's National Zoo, and we'll show some slides and introduce ourselves. So I am Caden Borseth. My pronouns are they and them, and I am the manager of, it's a new title, and it's not the one I put in the slides, School and Teacher Learning Program.
Hi, and my name's Laura Hernandez. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Education Programs Facilitator.
Awesome. Today we are so excited to share with you our conservation classroom resources. They are free K through 5 programs. So you can go see that website right there. Any of the QR codes that you see on the screen will take you to the conservation classroom webpage. So QR codes are all the same. So as you're watching a presentation, if you want to check out our website, go there. This is what you would see on our conservation classroom page. You would see a video telling you how to use the resources, and we're going to walk through that today. You can use them in your classroom in many different ways, and then you'll see a list of all of our programs that we have. Next. So as I said, these are free K through 5 programs. These programs have 4 components to them. We call them Wonder, Engage, Connect, and Act. So I'm going to go through the first 2 with you, and then Laura's going to go through the second 2 with you, and then we'll take your questions at the end. But as we're going through, I will be asking you questions. Feel free to put those in the chat. I have that open as well. Hello from San Diego, I see. Laura just got back from there, so that's great. And we'll toss those questions to us at the end. So put them in anytime and we'll gather them. Okay, next slide. So if you go to our webpage and you choose one of the programs, this is what you'll see. So this is our Saving Endangered Species program. And this has the 4 components on there that we're going to go through. Each program has these, as well as some other resources towards the end that we'll show you. Next. Okay, so first we have Wonder. So our Wonder videos are quick 5 to 7 minute videos, and they act as an introduction to the topic that we'll have. These free programs take place once a month, so we'll get to those for the engaged portion. But this is what goes along with that free program. They can also be used as standalone programs as well, or standalone videos as well. So these videos ask a question. So it could be, I wonder, what is an adaptation? I wonder, what is a habitat? All kinds of different things that you can wonder about. And this builds excitement, and it can be a great lead-in resource for showing your students what's coming up and what we're going to be doing for the week as you'd go throughout the program. We also now have these videos in Spanish. We've created 2 in Spanish and plan to make all of them available in Spanish this coming year. Next. I wonder, what is a habitat? Oh, hi, I'm Caden. Welcome to Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute, where I've been wondering, what is a habitat and why are they important to animals? Let's go explore the zoo and find out. Come on! So what is a habitat? A habitat is a place
this is just
that
an
living
example.
things like
Every
plants
time it
or
pushes
animals
up,
call home.
it's kind of a
They
cut.
include
So it's not the
non-living
full
things
video.
too, like rocks and water. Habitats can be big or small, from a whole entire ocean or small as under one rock. There are many kinds of habitats that can be found on Earth. Here at the zoo, each animal lives in their habitat just like they would in the wild. Let's go visit some animals to figure out which habitats they live in. First, let's start with the habitat that is very dry. Do you know what we call that habitat? There are many places throughout the videos where it asks a question and gives time for you to be able to talk to your students about it. So what do you call a habitat that is very dry with lots of sand? A desert. A desert is extremely dry, can be hot or cold, and gets less than 10 inches of rain a year. Deserts are found everywhere on this planet, including Earth's north and south poles. There's little plant life in deserts, but there are many animals that call this habitat home, including this Gila monster. So what did you think of the desert, the rainforest, and the ocean habitats we visited? Now those are just a few of the many habitats found on Earth. Can you think of any others? Habitats are a part of all animals' lives, including our own. They provide us with the food, water, air, and shelter that we all need to survive. You can help create more habitat for animals by planting native flowers or trees. This will give them more food and shelter they need to survive. It's also really important to help keep habitats clean. You can help clean up habitats by picking up trash and cleaning up around waterways. What will you do to help protect habitats and keep them clean? Wow, that was a great question to explore and answer together. Thanks for helping keep habitats clean and for wondering, exploring, and learning with me. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time. Awesome. So that's just a quick example. It wasn't the full video. Every time it pushed up, that was a transition of a cut that we took out. But just great example of kind of getting their excitement and their questions. You can see the whole list of I Wonder videos we have there. And you can always take those videos, use them as the intro to the program or as standalone. If you are talking about habitats, but we don't have a program about habitats that time of year, take the video and use that. You can also extend the resources. It's a great chance to do a KWL chart where you can see what they know, what they want to know, and then what they have learned, and many other things. Okay, next. So those are Wonder. Now our next part is our Engage portion, and Engage is our inspiration engagement. So this is where we really connect global to local and build that meaningful connection with your student. So these are our live webinars. In our live webinars, we meet at least one zoo guest, usually a scientist or an animal care team member, and then we get to see 2 to 3 animals up close. These programs are about 45 minutes long and have a chance for questions and stuff we'll talk about. Now, they are accessible. So just like our programs here today, we have someone doing ASL or American Sign Language interpretation throughout the program. So if you want that, you'd be able to click a button and see it. We also have Spanish interpretation live, as well as live closed captioning. Behind the scenes, if students are asking questions in the Q&A, we do have someone on staff that speaks Spanish. It can also answer those questions if they prefer to ask them in Spanish. And then coming soon, we will be doing audio descriptions, hopefully adding those to our videos that you'll be able to see a separate video with some more audio description. Okay, next. So with our programs, you saw some of the pictures there interacting, and some of it even had the screenshots with the emojis, but we've got all of our programs have NGSS cross-cutting concepts, and we go with standards. And then below on that slide, you can see the topics. So these are just some of the topics we've done. If you have topics where you're thinking, I always have a hard time teaching this, or I would love to connect with the zoo and teach this topic, we would love to hear from you. Pop it in the chat, and we're going to take a look at it and compile those. But we do a lot of great things throughout the year. So we like to help you be able to teach in the classroom too. That picture right there shows myself, our curator of birds, and one of our scientists, Brian Evans, and we're doing live bird banding. So helping students gather and write down their scientific data as far as measurements and weights, and learn about how we track and study birds. We will have a quick demo here as well. So I think that's the next slide going into it. Oh, almost. We show students animals from around the globe, and this slide has a few clicks. So click a few times. We really show how we connect to where we are, the red dot here in DC, figure out where they are on the map, where we are in the zoo, and really connect to all the places we are going. So that would be an example of going to the birdhouse. Next. And then we're always engaging with your students. So this is in Zoom webinar format, kind of like we are today, but we have a lot more engagement than we would today. Instead of just the chat, we use the chat a lot, And just like I'm going to use for you in a little bit, I have it open so I can see your responses. So I like to ask questions to the students, gather their answers and responses, and I'm able to give them real-time feedback and even say some of their names during the program. We also have question and answer or Q&A, like I mentioned. We have staff and scientists behind the scenes answering those questions as we go through. We also have staff gathering the questions, just as we're doing with the ones you're putting in the chat, and then we're going to toss it to us. So we always toss it, some live student questions to our special speakers during the program, which is special. We engage everyone through polls, which I'll show you an example of in a minute. And then we also have our reactions emojis. So people can laugh, they can put a heart up, and I can really gauge how their interest is in the animals and the things we're doing, which you can also hide if it's distracting to your students. So you can do 3 more clicks. So students think about things globally, thinking about endangered species. We have 2 animals globally. Then we always make a connection to local animals. Local, we try and do US, but we do have people all over the world join. And then we always connect that to actions, so things they can do. And that's one of our activity sheets that you can see there, teaching them actions they can do to help save endangered species. All right, next. So here is a great example. There are 3 things you are looking at. One is the example of a poll I'm going to give you in a minute, so you can actually guess what animal is coming up. But it's got the poll, and we're in Small Mammal House on the top left. On the bottom left, there is the meerkat's view that we actually saw during the program. And then on the right shows how we get some of those views. So educators as well as animal care team members will go into the exhibits with animals or bring them to us and get those up close looks, which is really fun. Next. And here's some examples of the polls actually happening. So it's easier to show you since we don't have the poll capacity today, but we put them on there, gather everyone's responses, and the students always like it when we share it and we're able to see what did other people guess too and see how they compared. Okay, next. All right, here is your poll opportunity. Again, I don't have a poll to pop up, so I'm going to be looking in your chat, and I expect to see some guesses over there. So who am I? Okay, click 4 times for me. I am a reptile. I have a blue tongue. I have 4 legs and a tail, and my scales remind people of pine cones or shingles on a roof. All right, another click, and we're going to give you your 4 guesses. So who am I? Am I a corn snake? Am I a California tiger salamander, an Aldabra giant tortoise, or a shingleback skink? All right, I already see some answers coming through, but just like the students, I'm going to give you a minute to put your guesses in, and then we'll give you a view. And you can stop sharing slides for this one, and we'll see the animal in just a second. Good. If I could share the repolls coming up, it would all say skink. You're all getting it. So 100% skink. Nice job, everybody. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a little example of how we do a program and just the up-close look we get for our animals. So if you stop sharing the slides, we'll be able to see, let me dab him off, he was sitting in water, our up-close view. So this is one of our animals. And when we do programs, remember I said we see the 2 to 3 animals up close and live. Generally, an animal care team member or scientist are holding them, showing them to us, and talking about them. So if we say we're going to do an adaptations program, and we have our pinecone skink, what are some adaptations that this skink may have? I'm going to watch the chat again. So put in, what do you think your students would say? What would you say? Oh, it's the camera's backwards, so I keep moving in the wrong direction. What are adaptations you can see in the skink? So we would have taught what an adaptation is, given some examples, some different animals. I see, yeah, look at those legs. Yeah, that tail. Good. So this tail is a great example of an adaptation. So if you look at the tail, it's kind of stubby and pointed. If we look at the head, We've got kind of stubby and pointed. They kind of look similar, right? So their tail and their head are shaped similarly to be an adaptation. So it's so that the predator or someone coming to eat it, right, doesn't know which one's the head, which one's the tail. So this offers a chance, if it's just the tail, a way better chance for this animal to get away from predators. All right, I see claws, camouflage, large mouth, fat tail, and rough scales. All of these are perfect. So if we look at those tail or those scales, that is like armor for this lizard. So these are osteoderms, and they are a bony plate that helps the skin stand up. But think about a crocodile or an alligator, how they have those scales for protection. Yeah, you're okay. Um, that is the same thing. So they have these scales that really help protect them. We'll also mention habitat. I'm going the wrong way again. We'll also mention habitats with the students. So we would have said these animals live in Australia. Talk about what they eat. They're omnivores. But going back to their scales, so talking about their habitat, they live in Australia, but they like drier conditions. So this is going to help protect their skin as well as from predators, from that heat, as well as anything that's trying to eat it. Okay, someone said they're blue tongue. If you look closely, these are a member of the family of the blue tongue skink. And if they are threatened, they can do several things. They will flatten their body to look bigger. They might show you their tail so that you bite their tail instead. They'll also open their mouth and stick out that tongue. See if it'll keep doing it. And it'll hiss. So it tries to look big and scary and use that big blue tongue as stay away from me. That blue tongue there it is, also helps them smell. So we'll talk about snake, Jacobson's organ, how they will stick their tongue out, gather scents, put it back inside their mouth, and then up on the roof of their mouth, they'll stick their tongue up there, and then that's how they smell. So there's lots of different things we're going to talk about with these animals, but I love adaptations. And one thing we love doing with our reptiles and our amphibians is really helping to teach empathy. So connecting them to some of these animals that may be lesser known or even lesser liked because they don't have legs or anything like that. So this is just a really fun example. And then we toss questions. So Laura, do you want to toss a couple of questions like the students would?
Yes, one of our guests have asked, does the blue tongue help prevent sunburn?
Oh, I don't know. That's a great question. So that's one thing I'd have to look up. I would guess it would because it's more pigmented, so it has more color versus a pink tongue like ours. So I would guess yes, but that's something we should research together sometime.
Okay, sounds great. And someone just added, aren't insects attracted to colors like blue?
That's true. Yep. So they can definitely help food find them by being attracted to certain colors. Absolutely. That's great.
Awesome. And since we're talking about food, someone is asking, what do they eat in the wild? What's their diet?
So they love lots of different things, really. Snails and different insects. So again, attracted to that blue. They will eat meat, especially dead meat they might find around, or a small mouse or something like that. They will also scavenge. So they will find different things that humans may have left around, maybe from a picnic or something like that. And they sometimes like fruit and different plants, but generally they love to eat insects and meat.
Okay, we've got a couple more great questions. Someone is asking if this animal is endangered.
Great question. So this animal, well, I'm going backwards because the camera goes backwards, is of least concern. So it is not endangered at all. So there are plenty of these all over Australia. So nothing to worry about right now, but we still want to make sure we keep their habitats clean so we don't have to worry about them in the future.
Okay, and someone is asking, can these be great pets?
Great question. So this is a question we get a lot with our Reptile Discovery Center programs. And we always make sure, depending on the animal, some of them are yes, they could make great pets. Some of them are no. but we always want to make sure we teach students responsible pet ownership. So making sure that you do your research. So if you wanted to get a blue-tongued skink as a pet, they can make great pets. But reptiles in general, they need a lot of care. So here we have a whole animal care team that makes sure they have the proper humidity and temperature and food and substrate, or like sand or wood chips or things that they'd be living on. So all of these things you'd have to do your research on, make sure you can provide them. And with some animals, look at how long they live. Some turtles live a very long time. So think about that before you get a pet. You want to make sure that you're getting it from a place that is not taking things from the wild. So make all these connections with students, but that's a little bit about how I'd answer that question. Awesome.
We'll do one more if you have time,
Okay.
Kaden.
Absolutely.
Someone asked, do the eyes have an extra eyelid?
Oh, with these ones, I don't know. I don't know the skink as well, but yeah, many reptiles do, so I'd have to look it up. This one reason I have animal care team members who are experts on the animals here presenting and answering the questions, because I don't know everything. But that's a great one. I encourage you to look it up yourself. All right, we'll put it away. We'll put the slides back up, but that's a quick little example of what we do. And I think the next slide is an example of a program, of our endangered species program. Again, every time the video pushes up, it's kind of cut. So you can watch that while I put this geek away. Welcome to Saving Endangered Species. It is joke time. So here's my joke for you, and you can put your answers in the chat. Why can't T-Rexes do push-ups? They can't do push-ups because they are extinct. Yeah, there's none left. So let's dive into what extinct means. See the word danger in endangered. And the word does mean they are in danger. So you're all getting it. They are in danger and they're close to extinction. So something we want to try and prevent. So a few animals that are endangered at the zoo, we have many of them, but here's just a few. The golden lion tamarin, little small monkey. We've got our western lowland gorilla. They're also endangered. And then we have different tigers. We have Sumatran and Amur tigers here at the zoo, which are also endangered. And we have some other animals at the zoo that are as well. Well, how do we know they are endangered? Well, scientists will study animals and they will put them on a list. Okay, so we've got all these categories, and you can always go to the Red List website and actually look up some of your favorite animals to see if they are on the list and see why they're threatened and how you can help. Now, if you printed out our actions worksheet, you can do this during the program, or you can fill it out afterwards. That's totally fine if you don't have it right now. Okay, we got most people's results. Let's share it. All right, we had a little bit of river otter, a little more giant panda. They do love snow. A little bit of golden lion tamarin, but most of you said that red panda. Well, let's see if you're correct. You got it. We are going to visit our red pandas today.
You're watching Asa hold her apple. She has a pseudo-thumb. So that pseudo-thumb is also what giant pandas have. They're, again, not related, but for these guys, it's not about climbing. It's about holding bamboo. And they can actually grasp, I'll show you if I can get her to do it. They can actually grasp something all the way around with their paw. You want to hold it? You see that?
Very cute.
Yeah, very cool, right?
So I heard a lot of actions. If you have your action worksheet,
Trish mentioned recycling. So we make sure we use less. That's a clue to our next animal. Using recyclable bags or reusable bags. So again, we use less plastic, we use less resources. Visiting. So why don't they live in Guam anymore? What happened to them? What put them in danger?
So these birds are very special right now because there are so few. They only live in human care. They're actually only housed in 23 AZA zoos and one Guam breeding center. They actually became extinct in the wild because of an invasive species. So there was a brown tree snake that was taken on military ships after World War II, and it was introduced into that environment. And unfortunately, they're not very great friends with the kingfishers. So before they did go totally extinct, we took some birds back with us into human care so that we could breed them here and help save these species.
A question for you. What are you going to do to help? I'm going to pop up this poll right away, and then I will read them. So these are all things you can do to help. It's a poll where you can choose more than one answer. So you don't have to choose just one thing. What will you do? Will you help by writing down and doing the Earth Day pledge, which I'll show you in a second again, teaching others how they can help, recycling and picking up litter, keeping your cats indoors, or learning more about animals? I love seeing these come in. I'm going to do a little bit of all of these for sure. And for this Earth Day pledge, maybe I'll try and do something a little different and write something down that's different than normal so I can add even more good things to help out animals.
All right. So that was a quick example of a program. Obviously, every time it pushed up, it would have cut a bunch of stuff out. But it probably showed you an answer to someone who asked this great question. So do you ever do programming with animals that aren't ambassador animals? We actually don't have ambassador animals here at our zoo. Sometimes we can use some of the reptiles, but that is about it. So we, with our programs, go into exhibit. Sometimes with some of them, we will use the live camera feeds that we have because it is the best way to see some animals. But like the meerkats, you saw us kind of go in the exhibit. So yes, we use big animals, big and small. We see them all and we go all over the zoo. So again, for all the programs, we will end with an action. So connecting what we saw with our animals, we learn about how we can help those specific animals and then connect it back home. How can we help animals around us and give them action items to do at school? Okay, next. I think this pops, one more. So here you can see some examples of us in the classroom, me set up over by felines, and then one of our vet programs, our veterinary medicine programs on the pictures. But you can extend all of these programs. I always encourage students, especially with adaptations like we showed, to pick an animal, their favorite animal, and then write a story. Write a story of the day in the life of the pinecone skink, also known as the sleepy lizard or the shingleback skink. But how did it survive? How did it use its adaptations and get some English and writing practice that way? All right, next, I think we'll toss it over to Laura for the next part.
Thanks, Kaden. So our third element is ACT, and through our activity sheets, we are encouraging students to take actions and to increase their empathy. All of these activities are helping them think globally and act locally. So these activity sheets are a great way to extend learning either through our programs or through a lesson that you are already teaching in your own classrooms. They are open-ended and versatile. So these activity sheets can be done individually, in groups, be sent home, or done together as a classroom. Each theme has two activities, a follow along and a post activity sheet. So for example, a follow along, the follow along sheet can be done during the program, and you'll notice right in the middle, our rainforest bingo there on the slideshow is an example that we did during our Explore the Rainforest program. And in this rainforest bingo, you'll have the students explore their senses. Our post activity, like the bird journal, which you'll see on the bottom left, let students show what they've learned while fostering curiosity. These activities, while we do call them post-program activities, can be done either before or after the program, and again, can be done individually. You do not need to follow along in the program or the theme to complete these activity sheets. And we love when our students send us back completed activity sheets. This helps us know, did we get the message across? And with any of the activity sheets that we do receive, we show them off in the next month's program, which the students love, seeing their own artwork, being called out by our hosts, thanking them for their amazing artwork. Next slide, please. So our activity sheets are often involve drawing and using their imagination. So here we have two examples of prompts that our activity sheets have. For one of them, we're asking them to draw themselves as herpetologists and then fill out the blank sort of in a Mad Lib style. That helps them complete the sentences on how they're helping the amphibian or whatever the prompt is for that activity sheet. We also have a comic book style drawing. And if you flip through the next page, you'll see an example of Liam. He completed our conservation comic, and here's a conversation with Pretzel the snake on what he would have said to Pretzel the snake. And through this activity is a perfect example of how Liam is building empathy, especially for reptiles and amphibians, which a lot of students or people, even adults as well, can be scared or not sure about our reptile friends. So this is a perfect example of that. And if you click one more, please, you'll see Ava's Earth Day pledge. Here she drew a species that's seen halfway across the globe. Thank you. There it is. And you could see her beautiful red panda. And here is an example of the Mad Lib style prompts that I had mentioned. And here her local act is by not letting her cats out. And these are local actions that have repercussions globally to save animals. Next slide, please. So these are just a couple more examples, again, really honing in on acting locally and thinking globally. Right there in the middle, you can see some positive words that a kinder teacher shared about our rainforest theme and activities. Next slide, please. So just like all of our other sections, our ACT portion can also be extended in the classroom and at home. You can make it a project, an all-class activity using small groups or using your whiteboard. And then you can also go interdisciplinary, add spelling words, create a word problem for your math unit using ideas in this lesson. You can also collect it, like I mentioned, we love seeing the completed activity sheets, but the students can keep them in their classroom, make a zoo folder, use this zoo map, and keep track of all the buildings that we visit. So all of these activities, like I mentioned, can be done together with our program or individually, and there are so many ways that you can use these activities to continue to extend the learning in the classroom and at home as well. Next slide. So we're just going to give you a couple of minutes to sort of think over this example that we've created for you. So this activity is called Science is Fun. So here, if you're at home or if you got a journal, take a moment and draw yourself as a science teacher or a teacher below and think about the space, what your space would look like, what tools you would use, and what topic you are teaching about. So just take a moment and think about what you might draw or write for this page. You can even take a look at those writing prompts before. I'll read them out loud for you. Today, I'm teaching about blank because blank, and you can write your reason. And one of my goals is for students to learn blank. So go ahead and reflect on those thoughts. I'll give you just a couple of seconds, a minute. And if you finish early, go ahead and pop it into the chat. We would love to see what you are thinking about. Okay, awesome. I'm seeing some great responses in the chat. I'll give you just a couple more seconds to wrap it up. What skills you were practicing? What were you feeling? I'm seeing here lots of teachers being creative, drawing their own classroom or out in nature, which we love, taking the classroom out, getting some sun, exploring in the dirt. All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for participating in this quick activity with us. And if I can get you to change the slides, please, one more time. Awesome. Then we're going to move over to our last portion, which is Connect. Here we have a series of videos that connect students with unusual careers. Here the students get to meet someone who works either at our National Zoo or at our Conservation Biology Institute. And this is where a lot of our research happens, and this is off-site. So it is great for the students to see a different environment other than animals and zoos. So sometimes we do showcase laboratories, labs, which you could see down below on the bottom left screenshot. So these resource videos shows a little bit more about the career, a little bit into their day-to-day activities, some advice for students, as well as sneak peeks into their labs. Like I mentioned, their work field, the clothes that they're wearing. All of our careers are different all throughout the zoo. So we don't only just showcase zookeepers or animal keepers, which we love, but we also like to showcase nutrition and different training jobs, landscape architect, life support systems, technicians, our IT team as well, different teams, different jobs that can help kids be curious about what they would like to do when they're grown up. All of these, what we love about these videos as well is that it showcases a little bit about their career journey. So we ask our staff, how did they get interested into this field, into this job? And the answers are different. As we know, a lot of our students at this age may not know exactly what they're doing and could change their mind. I changed my mind a million times before this job. And so it's really great to see someone as a director in life support systems be able to showcase a little bit about how they got there, whether that was through a traditional four-year school or through some other tech programs. And then the next slide, I'm going to show you just a quick snippet of one of our career videos. So just like our other videos, every time you'll see it push up, it is a transition period. You can go ahead and click next.
Hi, I'm Erica, and I'm here with another career connection from the Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute. Today, I'm at the Conservation Biology Institute in Front Royal, Virginia, where a lot of amazing science takes place. I'm about to meet Mel, a conservation biologist. As part of her unusual career, Mel studies animals and acts like a spy to discover the secrets of protecting animals. Before we meet her, there are 3 things I can share about Mel and her career. And third, she creates maps for animal habitats to learn how the habitats change over time. Let's go meet Mel to get the inside scoop on her career.
I'm Mel. I'm a conservation biologist, and my job is about studying mammals that are endangered and sometimes even extinct in the wild to learn about what we can do to help them survive and thrive in the wild again. Conservation biology can mean many things, but one of the keys is that we are answering important questions about nature and then using what we learn to solve conservation challenges. I use advanced technologies to spy on the animals to try to learn about how the species are moving in their habitats. The Przewalski horses went extinct in the wild in the 1960s, and it's really only because of zoos and breeding centers like we have here that they survived.
What tools do you use in your career?
I use a range of tools from very low-tech to very high-tech tools. For example, we can get a lot of information about animals from their poop. We can find out where they are, what they're eating. Sometimes if we're lucky, we can even get their DNA. And I also use very high-tech tools like GPS, drones, infrared cameras, and tracking collars such as this, which we use for the horses. This is habitat for Przewalski horses, and you can see the different types of habitat, and we can put their movements over this and see what they're selecting, where they're moving, how big a space they're moving in. So by putting this all together in this GIS, which is computer mapping system, we can discover new things.
When did you become interested in this career?
One of my very earliest memories was when I was around 5 years old, hiking in the Appalachian Mountains, and I remember I saw birds and a squirrel and even a deer, and that eventually led to learning about nature, biology classes, and eventually graduate degrees.
What advice do you have for students who might be interested in this career?
I would say find something that inspires you and excites you and learn all you can about it. Learn about animals and what you can do to help them and their habitats. If you have a chance, talk to scientists and other people who are working in the field, learn about what they do, and that can help you figure out what you would be interested in doing.
You can practice being a conservation biologist just like Mel. Spend time in nature and ask questions about what you observe. Learn about the nature all around you and what you can do to protect animal habitats.
Awesome. If you can click one more slide back. Thank you. So you can extend all of our career videos as well. You can create creative writing prompts, ask students how their career might use any of the topics at school: math, writing, art, technology, history. You can bring in some more experts or have students write letters to people in careers that they are interested in. And then you can also add an experiment or activity that practices the skills of this career or the tools. Like we saw Mel, she shared a little bit more about the tools that she uses on a day-to-day basis to help save species. So you could do the same thing with some prompts for imaginary or free play opportunities with these tools and prompts. Next slide, please. We also have teacher resources. So here on this slide, you can see a quick screenshot of a letter to Guardian. This is available on our website, and you can send that home with the students for the students to share their family, their caregivers, their parents, a little bit about what they did. There are also questions there that their caregivers can help extend this learning at home, asking them what animals they saw, what were the animals doing, and some information. Sometimes students come home and say, we went to the National Zoo, and the parents are like, what? You went to the zoo? And so we created this letter to Guardian to kind of showcase that it's a virtual field trip to the National Zoo and that you spent an hour with us. We also have our Smithsonian Learning Lab, which is more content. It's a collection of lessons that contain all of our resources that we showcase here today. And it's a resource that you can use that help teach the lesson. All of these links are, again, on our website. And then just on the far right, you can kind of get a screenshot of an idea of some of the themes that we've highlighted. Next slide. And this is just a little bit of what people have said about our program. So at the end of each program, we send a quick survey to students, to teachers and parents. And overall, in the last 2 years, our average rating has been 4.8 stars. And then we just did a little word cloud showcasing some of the words that they've used to describe our programs, which are fun, engaging, exciting, educational, and interactive, which I hope that you were able to see a little bit of that in our little showcase today. And I'll have you click one more slide. These are just some blurbs of what people have said. I won't read all of them. I will actually leave these up here for you since this concludes our presentation. So I'll leave these up for you for a couple of minutes while you take some time to put in some questions in the Q&A for Kaden and I to answer.
Yeah, and I know we already have a few. So let's see what we have. All right, so going from the top, how does your team measure success of your programs? We measure success in many different ways. And we went through some of those as far as like our activity sheet. So one way we measure success is seeing those activity sheets sent back to us. We can see, did we get our message across? Are they getting these points? Did they learn what we intended for them to learn? We also have a survey at the end of each program. Generally, adults or teachers will fill this out, but sometimes students will as well. So we can measure success that way and see, again, how we're going through things. And then we look at our engagement. Do we have people engaged in the chat? Do we have people engaged in the Q&A, doing the polls, things like that? So there's a lot of different ways we do it. We also have a teacher advisory council that we've worked with to get ideas and feedback and go through things a little bit more in depth than we can with people that kind of come and go. So that's been a great thing. And shout out to our teacher advisory council. Applications are open if anyone wants to join. It is nationwide, so it's not just in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. We have some teachers from there as well as some teachers nationwide. So we have applications. We'll put the link in the chat, but they're open until the end of the month if you'd like to join. Laura, is there a video recording of our programs in case they miss programs?
Yes. So while we love people to chime into our live program, if you are unable to participate, we do, if you register, we'll send you a link at the end of the program. And they're also available 24 hours later on our website and on YouTube for our other Wonder and Career videos as well.
Yeah. When do we announce the 2024-2025 school year themes? We have decided them. We're working on our dates right now, and they should be announced by the beginning of August. Could be the middle of August. We'll see what happens. But goal is beginning of August. And if you want to be amongst the first to hear, if you go to our website and scroll down to the bottom, you'll be able to put your email in to join our email newsletter. So you can put your email in and then say, I want to join the educator newsletter and or the National Zoo. It's just a once a month email, and it tells you what programs are coming up, lets you know of any special things. So I highly suggest you check that out. Laura, is Conservation Classroom a free resource?
Yes, absolutely. So all of our resource participating in our live program, access to our videos and activity sheets are all completely free. So share with your teacher friends, with parents, anyone in your bubble, share our resources out there completely free.
All right, and we've gone through the 4 components of each program. So Wonder, Engage, Act, and Connect. Someone wants to know when these resources are available for each monthly theme. So we try and get them out by the 1st of every month. Usually the program is around the 2nd Wednesday, and we try and get them out by the 1st of the month. We'll probably have them out a little bit sooner this year since nothing is brand new. Well, not everything anyway is brand new. So look for them the month before. Let's see. What are some animals we featured in the past? Do you want to mention some?
Yes, so some animals that we featured are the red panda, like you saw in our clip, elephants, birds. We do an amazing migratory bird program. And so that's actually the catch of the day. We don't know what bird is going to be on camera until about 30 minutes before, when our scientist and researcher Brian Evans catches the bird and then showcases them on camera. We've also done a handful of reptiles and amphibians, our Panamanian golden frog, our corn snake, and then as well as mossy frog, and my favorite, California tiger salamander, because I'm from California.
Yeah, what else have we done? We've done a lot of things: sea lion, beaver, elephant, red pandas, giant pandas, otters. We've done a lot, and we try, even if we repeat a topic. So if you've seen a program before, with that same topic, we try and change up the animals. So if your student is watching it again, because we have many people that like to join year after year, there'll be different animals to teach that topic. Let's see, someone asked, can you schedule more than one live presentation during the same day? So our programs are all free, and they're all webinars. So they are scheduled on a day and a time. So if you can't join at that day and time, then you watch the recording. So there's no need to actually schedule with us anything in particular. We start out with one-on-one programs, but that didn't allow us to reach as many classrooms as we wanted to reach. We had to say no to too many people. So that's why we've gone to the webinar and additional resources version for that. So sign up and register for the programs, but if you can't join on that day, that will allow you to get the email right away of the program recording. Let's see, might have time for one more. Oh, I wanted to shout out to our Head Start programs. If you liked Conservation Classroom, which is free K-5 programs, we also have free K or pre-K programming in conjunction with our Head Start program. So check out our website for those. They are amazing and even have a Muppet and a Music Man, and they're all free as well. So definitely check that out. All right, I think that is all for us. Last thing, we do have a free teacher professional development coming up in August. It goes along with our Otter program, which will be in October. So professional development is in August. Go to the Conservation Classroom webpage and you can sign up and see more information there, but we'd love to have you. But thanks for coming to the National Zoo. Laura and I had a blast talking to you, and we hope you go out there and help conserve some animals. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.